Good morning. It's the first Sunday of May, and during this time when our classes are virtual and we're physically distanced, but not distanced in practice or distanced socially, we're going to do videos for the first Sunday practice session, so join us. Let's start with bear. You get Beth here and me here and fellows running around somewhere. So, good old bear. Feet parallel, shifting and turning. So we're going to spend a bunch of time today paying attention to the feet. So while you're doing the bear here, I want you to really feel your feet on the ground. Don't just think about what your feet are like all the way down there, but actually try to feel. Try to feel if you've got socks on, feel the texture of your socks inside your shoes. If you're barefoot, feel the ground right underneath your feet. What does it really feel like? Get all the little irregularities. Feel where there's pebbles or bits of grass or something poking into your foot. Feel your socks. What do they actually feel like? Can you feel your shoes around your feet? Really get feeling awareness in your feet. So you're actually truly experiencing them. And now pay attention to the feet being quiet on the ground. So as you shift and turn, the feet are not perturbed. The tripod in each foot, the heel, the ball behind the big toe, the ball behind the little toe, those 3 points form a tripod. Those are the weight-bearing bones in the foot. You want to have those 3 points all in good contact with the ground as you're doing this. So when you shift one direction, don't let the other knee fall in, which will roll the foot. Keep the tripod in each foot connected to the ground as you're doing this. The rear crown of the head is suspended, with the open body hanging down from it. And your feet are connected to the ground. Really feeling the ground under the feet. In each foot, all 3 points of the tripod connected to the ground, even as the weight pours in and out of a foot. Softer and more relaxed every time you turn. Really feeling those feet on the ground. Again, let's do a couple minutes of 70-30 bear. So starting in the V, step into a 70-30, shift into your front leg, turn off the front leg twice, and then come back to the V. Step forward with the other foot, shift into it, turn on the front leg twice. Make sure this is all happening off the front leg. Don't go forward, then back, then forward. Keep it on the front leg. You shift, front quad closes, the front quad opens, the front quad closes. Now you shift back. You shift, stay on the front leg, closing, opening, closing that hip joint. Then shift back. So get this feeling comfortable, shifting and turning. The arms are just hanging. And pay attention to your feet. Feel the feet on the ground. Once you shift into that front foot, the tripod is not disturbed. You step heel first, both points under the ball touch at the same time, and you keep the foot quiet on the ground. Remember the rear foot too. Its tripod also stays connected. As you turn, watch here, I pulled my rear knee with me and I lost the outside of the rear foot. Keep that rear foot connected. So the tripod in both feet. Stable on the ground. And just like before, you can really feel your feet. You feel the texture of your socks. You feel the shoe around your foot. You feel your bare feet on the ground if you're barefoot. Really feeling what it's like. Meanwhile, the rear crown of the head is as if suspended. The open body is hanging down. Everything is relaxing. Once more on each side. Okay, we're going to do a little walking. In the walking here, what you're going to do is sit in one foot, step out with the other foot, the heel touches, sit down into your full leg until both points of the ball touch at the same time. So when you sit down, when you step out, you don't just lay your foot flat on the ground. Step heel first with the ball off the ground, and then lower that foot to the ground before you shift. At this point, I'm still 100% in the back. So I'm not halfway into the front and then falling into it. I step, both points of the ball touch down. Shift to underground, and now stand up the front foot, gradually peeling the rear foot off the ground. So that's really important. It's easy to thrust yourself out the rear foot. In that case, you're launching off of the ground. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is we come up the front leg, and as I come up the front leg, this is lengthening, 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 lengthening the rear foot until the heel comes off the ground. My leg is still totally soft. If I thrust, the leg becomes hard and compressed. So what I want to do is let that leg lengthen, keeping the ball still on the ground. Then I release it and I let it step. So, as it turns out, the one true way to walk in a circle is around this way. So, that's what we're going to do. So, at your own time, step. Sit down to put the front foot on the ground. Shift underground. Come up the front foot, peeling the rear foot off the ground, and allow it to step. Heel, both points touch down. Underground, standing up, peeling the rear heel off the ground. Step. And just allow this to keep happening. Really paying attention to the feet on the ground. Make sure that the ball of the rear foot stays connected. When you come forward to where you're on the toes of the rear foot, the rear leg will slacken. That tells you went too far. So come up, the ball is connected. When the ball disconnects, let the foot step. So shifting and stepping. and feeling your feet on the ground all the way through this. Tangibly, what's the sensation of the ground under your feet? So I'm feeling the little irregularities in the stones here. I'm feeling the spaces between them. I'm feeling what it feels like when my foot connects to the ground, and as my foot gradually peels off the ground. We used to watch our teacher baton walking, and it was like his feet were magnetically connected to the ground. And in order to step, he had to break that magnetic attraction, and then it would reconnect. So break the attraction, and then bang, the magnets are back. Feel when you leave the ground, feel when you return to the ground. With each step, allowing the whole body to relax. The rear crown of the head is as if suspended. So your empty, open body can relax down towards the ground. This is the part where I insert some sappy saying about every journey beginning with a single step. But seriously, one step at a time. That's what we can do. Each step on its own, for itself. We're walking in a circle, so we're not going to get anywhere. So it's just the act of stepping. And see how much attention you can pay so that you're really there with the steps. You'll tend to breathe in as you're standing up on your front leg, and breathe out as you release to step. So a filling, and then just a release to step. The step is effortless. You filled, you release. For this to happen, you have to have that slight tautness through the rear leg without any tension. If you let the rear leg slacken, you'll have to force the step. So fill, ball of the rear foot is connected. Breathe out, release, foot swings. Fill, ball of the rear foot is connected. Breathe out, release, foot swings. Breathing in, releasing, breathing out. Breathing in, releasing, breathing out. If you get bored, pay attention to tangible feelings. You're bored because nothing is happening, but there's actually a lot happening. What do your feet feel like as they leave the ground, as they reconnect to it? What's the actual experience? Focus on that. Filling and releasing. Filling and releasing. Really feeling your feet as they connect to the ground, as you peel the rear heel off the ground, as the foot swings. Feel the feet on the ground. Okay, take a break. So we're going to do a couple first thirds now. And same thing. I want you to really feel those feet on the ground. Reviewing briefly the tripod. The tripod would be connected. Heel, ball behind big toe, ball behind little toe. When you step forward, you step heel first, and then both points of the tripod underneath the ball touch down at once. When you're turning into a 70-30 and you shift into a 70-30, make sure the rear foot pivots on the heel, not letting the rear foot push the heel out. A lot of times what happens is people don't step wide enough. So if I'm doing ward off left here, when I come around for ward off left and I step, if I step narrow, see how my heels are almost in line here. If I step narrow when I get up to the front, it's going to push my rear heel out in order to get the waist square. So make sure you step wide enough. And really pay attention to whether you're pivoting on the heel, starting to pivot on the heel and then pushing the heel out, or just never pivoting on the heel and only pushing the heel out. So it's a pretty big difference, and the only reason it doesn't seem like a big difference is because you're not really paying attention and listening to the feet. So pay attention and listen to the feet. Every 70-30, no matter what it is, when you come into the 70-30, you pivot on the heel. We never push the heel out. It's not like throwing a softball where you throw it and let the heel go. That's a different motion. This motion comes from the ground and out, not over losing the heel. So especially people who've trained in other arts will often lose their rear heels because of the way the energy is delivered in those arts. In Tai Chi Chuan, keep the rear heel of the rear foot connected. So let's do a couple first third. We'll just do one. We'll do one where I talk. We'll probably do another one, and we'll see if I talk or not. Beth is going to fix all my wires and such. Okay, good. Now it's more comfortable and stylish. So we'll face the same way you're facing, and we'll do first third. Feeling the feet on the ground. And go ahead. Again, starting out in the V, make sure you can feel the tripod in each foot. If you need to, shift around a little bit till you have all 3 points in each foot in good connection with ground. Begin shifting. Left heel floats off the ground, ball is still connected. Then you step. Feel the foot reconnect to the ground. Feel the heel of the right foot still connected to the ground even as you turn. 50-50 and standing up. As you do the opening move, continue to feel your feet. So you feel from the feet all the way out to the fingertips. And now you feel from the feet up to the fingertips and above. Everything comes back down to the ground. Shift and turn. Right heel stays connected. Continue. When you step, left heel, both points of the left foot, pivot on the right heel. Really feel the feet on the ground. The quality of the ground, the texture of the ground. Did you just step wide enough so you can pivot on the heel? Make sure the front foot stays flat on the ground here. Don't let it peel up. And don't let it roll as you're turning. Same thing, both feet quiet on the ground. Pivoting on the right heel, even as all the weight is in the left. Then shift completely and turn. Make sure you step wide enough. Heel first, put both points down, then shift, pivot on the heel of the rear foot. Feeling the feet. Continue. Feel the right foot just before you step, after you step. Feel the tripod of the left foot as the hands drop and the foot comes back and you step. Tangibly feeling your feet and the ground. Both points of the left foot by the ball stay in contact all the way through the turn. Heel first. Both points touch down together. Rear foot pivots on the heel. Left heel. Let the foot go down on the ground without shifting as you turn. Feel all 3 points in the empty left foot. Tangible experience of your feet on the ground. Rear crown of the head as if suspended. All 3 points of the tripod in each foot connected. That allows the bubbling well to open to the ground. Mind rests in the dantian. Whole body relaxes. and close. Okay, we're going to do another one in a second. First, I want to look at a couple technical points as we're doing this. I talked about the turning in on the rear heel, and you'll notice that the width is super important. If when you step for ward off right, and do this with me, and step to with enough width, so you've actually got space between the heels, sit down into the full leg to put the empty foot on the ground, shift, turn the waist, allow that, bring the rear foot with you on the heel until you're actually square. So do that again. Left, left, all the way forward, waist turns, rear foot pivots on ball, step for enough width, sit down into your full leg to put the other foot on the ground, shift underground, turn the waist, let that bring the rear foot with you on the heel. Now we're going to make the mistake. We're going to step too narrow so that you see how that forces you to not use the feet correctly. So go ahead, step, and this time step where you know you don't have enough width. And start shifting and turn and feel how right about here you run out of space. So your two choices are to twist the other upper body to get yourself facing sort of kind of the direction you're supposed to, but my hips aren't, or to allow the rear heel to push out. So do that again narrow, because lots of people do this, so I want you to recognize it. Go ahead, ward off left, step for ward off right, narrow, shift and turn, and notice where you run out of room, it wants to push the rear heel out. Okay, and then I always like to finish doing it right, so finish stepping with enough width, ward off left, step with enough width, heel first, sit down on your full leg to put the leg on the ground, shift underground, turn the waist, let that bring the rear foot with you. So that's one. Another one is in brush knees. If I start out in white crane, when I'm in white crane, both points of the ball on my empty foot are touching the ground. And as I turn, I want to keep that. What that means is that the hips, the front hip, I need to open away from that thigh. So I'm turning away from my front thigh, not bringing the front thigh with me as I do this. You bring the front thigh with you, the foot will either rotate or it'll fall on the foot. You won't be able to keep those 2 points under the ball connected. So do the white crane with me into brush knee. Turn, and when you have gotten to the rear corner, stop and feel your front foot, feel the 2 points of the ball connected, so that you can then fold and step for enough width, heel first, sit down into the full leg, both points of the front foot on the ground, square up, pivoting on the rear heel. Now let's do it tightening the front hip joint. So start out in white crane, and keep this front hip joint, don't allow it to open, and turn, and see how what it's doing is it's pulling your knee with you. I came across once somebody trying to compare Cheng Man-ching's version of the yang form to the orthodox yang family, and he said that one of the differences in Professor Cheng's form was that when you turn like this, the knee should come with you. And that's just wrong. Sorry, whoever that was. That's not a difference between Professor Cheng's form and the orthodox yang family form. That's an error in what this person was doing. So when you do this, that knee stays behind. It does not roll and come with you. It's a little more complicated coming out of play guitar. Coming out of play guitar, when we play guitar, the heel is touching, not the ball. And when you turn, go ahead and let that foot relax down to the ground so that all 3 points are in touch. You're going to turn, and at this point when you swing up, you should feel all 3 points of that empty foot on the ground. As you turn back towards the front, the heel is going to float slightly so that it's easy to take this step. So do that again from play guitar. Heel touching, balls in the air. Allow the foot to relax to the ground. Don't shift into it. Turn, stop in back corner. Feel that you turned away from your front thigh. Feel that that foot's still empty. You can pick it up without any effort. As you turn back to the front, if you keep the ball connected, the heel will naturally float, and then it's easy to step. Now, part of why we do this is to allow the heel to float before the step, because as long as the heel is connected, it's more difficult step. So if you let the heel float a little bit right there, the heel has the meaning of root, the ball has the meaning of mobility. You've put yourself in the position of mobility, you'll be able to move the foot. The other thing that happens is if you hold that ankle up as you turn, you're going to feel tightness through the whole leg. So it's easier if you let that foot relax. You've got a better shot at relaxing the whole leg as you go through there. So try that with me. Play guitar and don't put your foot down on the ground. And turn away from it and feel that line. You'll feel tension across the inside of the thigh. You'll feel the heel solid. And then just let that foot relax and see how you can let the whole leg relax. So that's why we do it like that. Let the foot go down to the ground so the whole leg can relax. Turn. As you come back, the heel will naturally float, making the foot mobile. Then you can step. Make sure you have shoulder wide so that when you come into brush knee, you'll be able to pivot on the heel of the rear foot. So let's do one more first third and do everything. Pay attention to everything we just did. The top thing I want you to pay attention to is the tangible feeling of your feet on the ground. Not just an idea about your feet all the way down there doing something, but really what do they feel like? That's why I like feeling my socks or feeling the surface of the ground, because that's a no BS way to actually feel my feet. If I'm just thinking about it, I don't necessarily feel what's happening there. So I want you to have the tangible feeling of the ground, and then from there, distinguish the ball and the heel. Know whether you're pivoting on the ball or on the heel. Know whether you have both points of the ball connected or if you're rolling on one or the other. And just let this be the whole thing. If when we do this first third you get lost, that's a good thing. That's fine. That means you're really paying attention. So one more. And I might say a thing or two, but I'm not going to talk a lot. Starting out, tripod in each foot, feet on the ground, and go ahead. Feel when your foot leaves the ground. Feel when it returns to the ground. Step with enough width so you can pivot on the left heel. The tangible feeling of your feet on the ground. Both points of the ball on the front foot connected to the ground. Feeling your foot as it leaves the ground, and feeling the ground as you reconnect. Stop at cross hands before you stand up. Really feel both feet on the ground. Move if you need to get yourself even on them. And when you stand up, make sure you stay connected to the ground through your feet. And close. Okay, we're going to take a little break, so get yourself a drink, and we'll be back shortly.
Okay, so let's take what Lee was working on with the feet and put it into the form beyond the first third. And what's everybody's favorite place to work on stuff? The kicks. So let's do a little bit of that. And keep coming back to your feet. Don't worry how high you pick up your leg or any of that stuff. I want you to really see how using the ground will help you with challenging moves like the kicks. So, from single whip, so get your feet connected here. Get yourself familiar with the bottoms of your feet. Feel the outside edge of the rear leg and make sure that the heel is fully connected, not just kind of sort of on the inside of it, but the whole foot. Okay, and begin. Pivot on the right heel, shift to the right, pivot on the left heel, extend and bow as you come around, pivoting on the left heel till it's facing the corner. Left hand has turned with it. Shift into the left leg, and now you're coming up into the left leg completely, and you're facing the left corner. You're going to sit even more fully into your left leg. As you do that, it frees the right leg, and use the whole leg that you're standing on to bring that right foot up. Release. The whole body goes into the next move, not just the foot. Shift onto it, full connection through the whole leg, and let that motion go through your leg. You're not just a bust on top of a table leg. As you sit into the next transition, let that go through your leg down into the foot. Your knee changes too. The left foot comes down weightless, ball of the foot connected. Then you shift, and the whole foot becomes stable, and you turn, keeping both feet connected to the ground. Sink and let the hands drop. Your right foot has no weight in it, so it's happy to turn on the heel. Keep turning. Turn back to the corner, hands crossed. Feel your full foot. Feel good connection through there. Your right foot has the 2 points of the ball connected, and as you sink to open the hands, feel that motion go through your whole leg and expand through the whole leg. Withdraw. Give into the ground to put that right foot on the ground. Shift. And fully shift into your right leg now. That frees the left foot on the ball. You go past the corner and back to the corner. At that point, the left foot replaces. Make sure it's got both points of the ball connected. Sink to take the hands apart, feel the ground, and separate left foot. We'll just do that much again. So the thing I want to emphasize, what I'm talking about when I say let it go through your leg. So I could do standing on one leg where I solidify my leg and I just try to pick up the other one. That's not a whole body action. So instead, as I give into the ground, it's like something inside me feels all the way to the bottom of the foot, and then let's bloom like a flower or something coming up through the body, so that there's a little bit of change in this leg. I don't want to overstate it. It's not like I'm, on a pogo stick, but you're not just on a solid, strut of iron or something where you just solidify and then make things happen on the other side. Let the movement go through you. You feel the ground and you let it reflect back up into the other knee. Let's try it again. So, good connection through the ground. Both feet have a nice solid connection. You're suspended from above, so you're not crunching and pushing yourself down. You're letting gravity take you down to the ground as you're suspended from above. And go. Right foot turns on the heel. Shift, left foot turns on the heel. Extend, bow, spiral through to the final posture, and then continue. Up and out. Back foot has turned on heel. Give in fully to the left leg. Feel the ground and then feel it come back up through you. That's what lifts your leg and your arm. Release through the whole body to put that foot down on the ground. Ball first, shift into it, and come up the other leg. Let that feeling come through the whole body. Let the left side down. Same deal. Whole body is responding to that motion. Shift and turn. Keep that connection in the left foot as you drop your hands. Turn the waist. Keep turning. As you turn back to the corner, you feel the whole leg connected to the ground through the foot. Sink to open the hands, feel the ground, and let it rebound out to the toe and front hand. And withdraw. Lowering yourself, the whole body is involved. Shift and continue shifting 100% into your right leg. The left foot comes off the ground. It replaces the 2 points of the ball. Sink. Feel the ground. Keep feeling the ground, but let it expand out through the whole body. And rest your legs. All the moves like this, these are just ones that kind of rub your nose in the importance of using the whole body, starting with a connection at the feet and not losing that connection even as things happen. Your knee comes up, your toe goes out, your arms expand, but you're still feeling the ground through the bottom of your foot, keeping the bubbling well in a good position so that the tripod helps you drop the weight directly down rather than having it roll around a little bit. Let's do it one more time without me talking and stopping us in all the places so that you just get the flow of it. And begin. Great. Rest your legs. Let's do a whole form. Keep coming back to your feet. Notice that feeling that we were just working on of coming through the body. That's going to happen everywhere, all the time. It's not just something that happens down here and the rest of your body goes dead and then puts the arms out. You want to feel that by tapping into the ground, tapping the earth's strength, as they say, you can let the motion and the energy come back up through your open body by keeping your joints open and relaxed. Then it will play out and use your mind, your awareness, your attention to what it is you're doing will help you put your hands and your feet where they need to go. So let this really be a be here now. In this moment, every moment, what are your feet doing and how does your body allow what you take from the ground to play out through your body, send it back to the ground and play out in a new gesture or shape. Begin. Well, thanks for practicing with us. This is a difficult phase that we're all in, but the earth will see you through. So give in to the ground and keep the faith and relax, breathe, and stay calm.